If you're a homeowner in Kyle, Texas, you already know this place has its own vibe. But what you might not know is that your home's plumbing is dealing with some pretty unique challenges, and they're literally built into the ground beneath your feet. So today, we're going to break down exactly what's going on under your floors and behind your walls.
Okay, let's just jump right in with a sound I bet you've heard before, that weird gurgle from a toilet or a drain. It's so easy to just ignore it, right? But a lot of the time, that's the very first sign that a much bigger problem is brewing down below.
You see, the plumbing issues that so many folks in Kyle run into aren't just bad luck. They are a direct result of our local environment. And I'm talking about the actual ground your house is sitting on. The number one culprit, the biggest offender, is something called expansive clay soil. Pretty much the entire Kyle area is built on this stuff, and it basically acts like a giant sponge. When it rains, it swells up, and when it's dry, it shrinks a lot. And that puts this incredible constant pressure on your pipes. And this shifting, it's not a gentle process. It's literally squeezing, bending, and stressing your pipes day in and day out. Over time, that pressure can create tiny pinhole leaks or even big cracks, which leads to the one thing no homeowner ever wants to hear about, a slab leak, right under the foundation of your house. So challenge number 2 actually comes from our water itself. The water here in Kyle is famously hard, which is just a nice way of saying it's full of minerals. Now, it's perfectly safe to drink, but for your plumbing, it's kind of a silent killer. All that calcium and magnesium is what leaves that crusty white buildup on your faucets and shower heads. Now, just imagine that same buildup happening on the inside of your pipes. It's slowly but surely clogging everything, reducing your water pressure, and forcing your water heater to work so hard that it can fail years earlier than it's supposed to.
So how do you know if this is happening to you? Well, these two problems, the shifting soil and the hard water, they don't stay hidden forever. Your house will actually start sending you warning signs. You just have to know what to look for.
So here's a question every single homeowner in Kyle should really think about. Knowing what we know about the ground here, is it possible there's a leak hiding right under your feet right now? Listen, these things are not just random quirks of an old house. If you notice a random warm spot on your floor, or your water bill suddenly shoots through the roof for no reason, or you hear that faint sound of running water when you know everything is off, those are classic SOS signals that you might have a slab leak. Okay, so beyond what you can see and hear, there's another huge clue, and that's simply the age of your home. The materials used to build it have a shelf life, especially here in Kyle. And here's the deal. If you're in an older home, especially near downtown Kyle, there's a good chance you have galvanized steel pipes. And those pipes are likely corroding from the inside out as we speak. Now, if you're in a newer neighborhood, maybe like Kensington Ridge, you've got modern PEX tubing, which is way more flexible. But even that can fail if it wasn't installed perfectly to handle all that soil movement. So when you're up against these really specific, local challenges, you need a very specific kind of solution. This isn't a job for just any plumber. You need a team of local experts who really, truly get Kyle's unique geology. And that local expertise is absolutely crucial. A technician who knows that the common plumbing problems in Waterleaf might be different from the ones in Steeplechase, that person can figure out what's wrong way faster and much more accurately. It's a total game changer. So what does a solution made for Kyle actually look like? Well, it's a company that gets why your pipe is leaking, not just that it is. You want someone who focuses only on Kyle and Hayes County so they can get to you fast. And, this is a big one, they show up with a truck that's already fully stocked, ready to make the repair in one visit. And of course, a commitment to honest, upfront pricing. Okay, so you know what to look for in an expert, but what should the actual process feel like when you call them? It should be simple, with no stress and absolutely no surprises. Let's walk through what to expect. Look, a good process is just a straightforward 3-step dance. Step 1, you call and talk to a real person who sends the right technician for your problem. Step 2, the tech diagnoses the issue and gives you a clear, upfront price before any work starts. Step 3, they do the repair, they test it to make sure it's fixed, and they clean up after themselves. No drama, no last-minute charges. All right, let's just tackle the elephant in the room for any home repair, shall we? Let's talk about the cost. Because when it comes to this stuff, transparency is everything. This is always the first question, and it absolutely should be. You should never, ever have to wonder what the final bill is going to look like. The answer should always be this simple. The price you are quoted is the price you pay,
period. When you get a detailed estimate that you have to approve beforehand, that whole fear of a surprise inflated bill just goes away. But you might be thinking, what about all those little extra costs? Things like city permits, or what happens when they have to cut into a wall to get to a pipe?
A truly professional estimate accounts for the entire job. That means any permits you need for a new water heater, the cost to access the pipes, and even hauling away the old broken parts. All of that should be included in the price you approve from the very beginning. No gotchas later on.
So, as we wrap this up, here's the bottom line. Here in Kyle, a seemingly small thing, like a little drip or gurgling drain, is often a symptom of those two bigger forces at work, our soil and our water. And catching it early is your absolute best defense.
So if any of those warning signs we talked about sound even a little bit familiar, the answer is to get a local expert on the phone right away. Getting someone dispatched immediately can honestly be the difference between a simple repair and a full-blown catastrophe.
And I want to leave you with this final thought. It's so easy to think of plumbing as just a bunch of pipes and faucets, but it's really a complete, interconnected system that, here in Kyle, is under constant stress. So the real question isn't just, are my pipes okay today? It's, is my entire system protected for the long haul?